So hi Yasmin,
Hello.
thank you so much for joining us in this interview today. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
So, my name's Yasmin. I graduated from University of Birmingham in 2011. So I've been doing dentistry for 7 years, 6 years out of BT. I work as an associate dentist in a practice in Derby. I predominantly focus on sort of cosmetic dentistry. That's my main sort of specialist interest. I love short-term orthodontics, Invisalign in particular.
What does female empowerment mean to you?
So I think when I think of female empowerment, I just think of, women that basically are breaking the status quo, So, generally in a male-dominated world, the women that sort of stand out within their industries. So for example, I think of like people like Amelia Earhart, as an example, the first female pilot to sail across the Atlantic when it was only male pilots doing it. That's female empowerment. That's somebody that's saying, well, actually, I'm going to do things differently. I'm a female. I'm here, and I'm going to raise the bar for women. This is how it should be. So, typically where it's a black and white world, it's women that, make it grey. So that's female empowerment for me, and that's what, when I see that empowers me.
What else empowers you, or how do you empower yourself?
So I think for me, whenever I'm faced with sort of a barrier or inequalities or discrimination, that really empowers me. So when I feel like I'm being discriminated against, or I'm being judged, or someone's looking at me in a certain negative way, that is like the biggest motivation for me. I just think there's absolutely no way I'm going to let that get me down. And that's like the biggest empowerment. It just raises me up, and I feel like I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to be the best that I can be, because as long as you believe in yourself, there's nothing you can't achieve. So especially when someone's trying to kick you down, I think that's the biggest way I empower myself.
What techniques do you use to do this?
So I think for me and my husband, we have this thing where at the start of the year we always kind of write down our goals and our plans for the year. And I listen to a lot of motivational talk, so I follow kind of, stuff like Auntie Robin says, where you break your life into categories, and I say, look, you've got your career, your mind, your body, your soul. We write a list of this is everything we want to achieve, and we review it on a monthly basis. So for me to, achieve my goals and to get where I want to, I follow that plan. My husband is very, very inspiring. So I know we're talking about females here, female empowerment, but he's the number one, female empowerer. Like, he will always tell me there's nothing you can't achieve. Don't ever let it be that, okay, you're a woman or anything. No, he raises me up. So we follow our plans, and I think if you have structure and you have goals that you want to achieve, there's nothing you can't do.
Have you experienced inequality within the workplace?
Let's let the train go by. Okay, so inequalities in the workplace. That's an interesting question. So I think personally for me, it's difficult as a woman to know whether, for example, if you're going for an interview, how do you know if the UDA rate you're getting is less than a man? You don't know, because you don't know what your male counterpart's being offered. So personally for me, I haven't felt like I've experienced inequality per se, but I felt like I've experienced discrimination as a female, Asian, hijab wearing Muslim dentist. Definitely, I think all those things are barriers. I mean, let's be real. We live in a world where, okay, a patient will walk in and see a hijab wearing female and think, okay, especially in certain areas that you work in, that's just natural. So inequalities in that sense, yes. I have experienced that, and particularly in a previous job that I was working at.
And how did you manage those kind of challenges?
Absolutely stayed true to myself. I can't be anything other than myself. And I think when patients sit down and initially get past the prejudice of this, they see somebody who is actually quite a nice person, I hope, who actually is, a qualified dentist, is good at their job, and suddenly that whole discrimination and that idea they have of you is gone. So I think that for me, I overcame it that way. But you get the people that would just be like, no, I'm not going to see you. You're a female, you wear a scarf, I'm not going to see that. And you can't change people with that mental outlook, so goodbye to them.
How do you think we can decrease barriers that women face within dentistry?
I think with the older generation, there's a lot of there's a lot of male dentists that are leading, let's say, courses, or are great speakers, and people generally will want to go to their courses and follow them. Now, let's say the younger generation, I'm classing myself in that, we're seeing more of a trend towards female dentists that are coming out on social media, that are quite outspoken, really sort of inspiring with their work. They showcase their work, and I think social media is a fantastic thing. I think that's the number one way. I think for females dentists especially to put their work out there, that's going to be a fantastic way to raise female dentist profiles, and I think that's starting to happen now. We're seeing that trend.
Have you experienced harassment within the workplace?
So I think my personal experience in a previous job, I worked within a practice where a principal was very controlling, a male principal, and I, as an associate just starting out, fresh out of BT, you do feel like, oh, I'm so grateful to be here, and your confidence is low. Generally starting out, you just want to build on your skills. You don't really know anything to do with sort of like dental contracts, blah blah blah. And I just worked in a place where, and I think a lot of dentists go through this initially, where you do experience a lot of bullying. And I think it's a big word to say, but in actual fact, when I look back at my experiences, it is a form of bullying to belittle an associate, in front of colleagues and staff members, to constantly pick up and criticize them without any sort of positive feedback, to constantly put them down. It starts to affect your confidence, and I'm glad that I didn't let that swallow me up, because it wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been able to continue and make what I have of myself. But a lot of dentists feel like, actually, what, I can't. They're right, maybe I'm not great, maybe I should just not push and reach my goals, and it just totally does the opposite of empowering you, really. And I think a lot of us are in positions where we kind of stay in a practice where it's not great, we're getting bullied, and the cycle continues, and and we're too scared to look for another job or get out. But what I would say to anybody who's experiencing things like harassment or bullying, absolutely leave. There's no way you should put up with that. It's not something that is acceptable. I think there should be more support within the dental community to help people with bullying. I mean, I found myself calling the BDA a lot of times, asking, okay, so what do I do about this and the contract, blah blah blah. And there's no emotional support. There's no support in that sense. It's just completely, okay, well, the contract stays, da da da, and that's it. And I think we could do with a group that would help dentists and empower us.
Why are female role models important to you?
Do you know what? Even from, let's look at all industries. So film, for example, you want to go to the movies and watch a superhero movie, let's say. They're all male. So it's Superman, it's Batman. Finally, we've got Wonder Woman. That is inspiring, because you can relate to it. You're a woman, yes, someone raising us, within film. You look at music, for example, even, I know it's going to sound so silly, but like rap music, it's all male rappers, and then suddenly there's a female rapper that's breaking the status quo. It's just so empowering. Within medicine, Mary Curie, everything she did, it's so empowering within typically male-dominated industries to see a woman. You just, it's like camaraderie. You want to back your female, equals, basically, and you think if they can do it, you can do it. So it's so important.
Great, thank you, Yasmin.
You're welcome. Thank you.